How's it going, everybody? It's the Shirtless Chef coming at you with a new episode of How to Cook. We are making, well, I don't have the page here, but we're making gyoza today, or we're going to attempt it. So, let's roll the title. So, I'm back, and as I said, we're making gyoza today, which are Chinese dumplings. Well, Japanese pan-fried dumplings. But I'm going to take a little bit of a twist on mine. I'm not going to use your standard ingredients. I'm going to do a very quick, cheap, easy attempt. So we've got our pan food processor. I'm going to peel some shrimp. Kind of put it in here, peel some shrimp. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this, or at least not the way I'm going to do it. I bought shell-on shrimp just because it was a good bit cheaper. It's about $6.99 a pound. And this whole thing was $3.63. It really doesn't matter shell on or off, because we're going to take and put this in the food processor, run it through, and that's going to be our filling. So what are our other ingredients? We've got rice vinegar. This will be this is actually our dipping sauce. We've got our dipping sauce is going to be our filling is going to be soy sauce, sesame oil, pepper, table salt, I believe, here we go, garlic, one clove. We're going to mince this. Not going to take us too long. Now, all I'm really doing is trying to peel the shrimp. All of this is going to be super easy because it's all going to go in the food processor, get processed through, and then we're going to make our dumplings. So, I've done a street food series. I've done a couple of different series. This has just been kind of some general cooking. So, I kind of got backed up with this series. Because of the month of October, I decided I was going to do a Halloween stream on my Twitch channel, my main YouTube channel. And cooking kind of fell to the wayside. Not as a bad thing, I just didn't keep up with it. I didn't really have that much time to keep up with it. So, this is kind of my attempt at trying to ease you all back into this series. For those who have been going through, I've been trying to put out an episode here and there over the month of October. It hasn't been easy. Now, I will go ahead and state these shrimp were frozen. They are previously frozen shrimp. However, I'm the one that froze them. Put them in the freezer a while back just because I didn't know when I was going to put this recipe together or when I was going to do it, so they just lived in the freezer for a while. And in a way, that has somewhat made this job a lot easier. So, while I'm working on this, I'll kind of introduce you to the rest of our ingredients. We're going to use coleslaw mix, which is green cabbage, carrots, and red cabbage. Our sesame oil, which we already touched on. Our soy sauce, which we already touched on. Salt, pepper. Now, I've wanted to cook this kind of recipe on camera before. I've done it for my family before, and it turns out pretty well. However, I missed a step when I was cooking it the previous times because I didn't have a recipe per se. And in a lot of cases, you're not going to be using a recipe. The only reason why I have one right now is just because I needed something to go on in general. But that is all of our shrimp, peeled, filled, and otherwise. So, now for the rest of our ingredients. Coleslaw. I'm not going to use as much coleslaw as I would for another recipe. I'm going to rinse my hands though. Sorry, it took me a second to get that package cut open. I'm going to use about half the package, but I didn't just completely rip the package open. I'm going to basically make like half a recipe. Because, let's be honest, you all don't want to see me cook 40 gyoza on camera. And this is going to be a relatively short video. Because a lot of my cooking videos, more that are how to cook, are generally close to an hour. Now, the other things we're going to add, instead of garlic and onion, I'm going to go a different direction and add garlic powder. Because we're trying to take a couple of shortcuts with this, unfortunately. And sorry for those that are watching this and are mortified by my cooking. I'm not perfect. Let's see, do I have an onion in the fridge? I do not. So we're not going to worry too much about an onion. Add some pepper. We're just going to move on to some seasonings. Pepper. Some salt. This is just regular table salt that I'm using. We're going to add some sesame oil. And this part we are going to measure. One teaspoon of sesame oil. And 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. Looks good. Now, the other big things we're going to do is we're going to put some oil in our pan. We're not going to get that heating yet because we've still got to stuff our gyoza. But we are going to pop the lid on this. Kind of grind it down. That actually ground down pretty well. That smells really good. I will add a bit of soy. A bit more soy just to... But I'm not going to run it through the food processor this time. I'm going to instead grab a butter knife. And before somebody asks, there is a reason you use a butter knife. So why do you use a butter knife instead of a spoon? Well, I actually looked up the reason. You use a butter knife because a spoon will trap air in the filling. That is actually perfect. I just eyeballed that, and that's actually pretty much perfect. So, there is our filling. So we're going to turn back. And again, we're 14 minutes into this. This whole prep cook this is where you cut down on a lot of your time, because originally the prep time is 30 minutes. We're 15 minutes in, and we're pretty much done. However, there's a little more to this. I am going to put our coleslaw back in the fridge. We're going to get our pan heating. And I'm going to grab some shrimp dumplings. Why do I have these? Well, there's a reason. So we're going to do a side-by-side taste test of this. Mine versus store-bought. Pre-made store-bought dumplings. They're called dumplings. They are gyoza. However, speaking of our gyoza, we're going to go back to and focus back on it. This is the end we're supposed to open. Well, that was sealed a little too well. So we're going to go a different direction. So, I'm going to see if I can get some of these out. I wish we had smell-o-vision, because this actually smells really good. But we're going to basically I'll show you the butter knife trick. We're going to use up this much of our filling. And we're going to take and place it in the center. We may actually get a little more filling. And we are now going to take and make an assembly line. There's a little bit of air in this filling, and that's unfortunate, but here is one gyoza. So we're going to kind of show how one of these is cooked. You saw me put it in the pan. I really kind of need a bowl. So this is not really a kitchen fail, it just failed to seal. But I'll show you our gyoza roughly, and then I'll come back with another episode later, or another portion later. The goal is to steam these. It's not working. So we're going to try this. So it did absolutely nothing to this. We're going to get a plate and see how these turned out. I know they were bad, so these are what we call for the dog. I would not feed these to our basset hounds. They'd eat anything. But not terrible for a first attempt. Now here's the big question. I'm going to grab a spoon. Not bad. So what I'm going to try and do is attempt to finish frying these, and then still isn't too bad, even though I've pretty much botched half of it. But here's our gyoza. Honestly, it doesn't look terrible. However, it does definitely look like I messed up. And this was the step that I missed the first time. So I'll be back in a few minutes after I've got the rest of our gyoza stuffed, and we'll kind of show how to finish. I don't use the pleat method with mine. I just put our filling in the center and then fold it in half, diagonal on the bias. But you can try and do the pleat method if you want to. It's just time consuming. So I will be back in a few minutes with some more gyoza that we can actually put in the pan. Still, we're only looking at 27 minutes. It's not bad. So I will see you in a few minutes. And we're back kind of with the last bits of our gyoza making. And I just decided I was going to scorch one of our wonton wrappers. Kind of irrelevant at this point. Cooked filling is pretty good. So we only used about half our wonton wrappers. So I'm just going to kind of wrap them back up, put them back in the fridge. So here's the last part of our question. biggest thing right now is trying not to burn them. All you're really looking at doing at this stage is just kind of toast the outsides, just so that they're crispy. This one will be really good. So there we are, like I said, 30 minutes and we've pretty much got it completed. However, there's one more step. You've seen me fry these. We're going to fry the rest of them. We will be back in a few minutes. All right, folks, we are back. I just finished cooking the last of the gyoza. Now we're going to start back with the second half of the recipe. All we're going to do at this point, throw all these in here. Not all of them, but about half of what we've cooked. Probably about 8 or so. We're going to cool everything down. We're going to let all this steam for 3 minutes or so. That's pretty much how you're going to finish this. The sesame oil gives it a nice kick as a flavor. We're going to steam our second batch and then we'll be pretty close to done. Sesame oil gives it a good flavor. You still got that bit of crispness to it from where we fried them first. Well, this is a hilarious fail. I'm going to switch to a spatula. To get the rest of these out. Although they're not bad, all things considered. Throw this last batch in. Then we're done. Your goal is literally to just steam it until the water evaporates. So I'll be back with the dipping sauce in 1 second. So we're back with the end and our dipping sauce, which I will show here. It's very simple. It's, let me get a tablespoon measure. Our entire sauce is this, quite simply. This is seasoned rice vinegar. It says unseasoned, but we're going to make this work. 1 tablespoon of seasoned rice vinegar. I honestly don't know how many. This was supposed to be 52 gyoza. and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. And since we did not use this originally, actually we did use this originally, we're going to add a little more. We're going to take to this mixture, we're going to add a teaspoon of sesame oil. To me, sesame oil is more of a finishing oil than it is a cooking oil, although it can be used as a cooking oil. That's pretty good. Now, to taste. For gyoza, we're just going to dip it straight into our dipping sauce. Oh my god. That's incredible. So for the Shirtless Chef, granted this was 42 minutes, a quick and easy recipe, quick and easy per se, of how to make shrimp gyoza. Now, using virtually the same ingredients, same method, you could do chicken gyoza, you could do pork gyoza, you could do cheese gyoza. You can basically do whatever you want with gyoza, and that was kind of the point that I was trying to show. Gyoza is more the vessel than it is the filling. The filling is up to interpretation. So, for the Shirtless Chef, this was how will it cook with shrimp gyoza. Okay,